What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome back to The Good, the Bad and the Stupid. It's the first episode of 2020. Happy New Year. Hope you've had a great, I was going to say great weekend then, a great Tuesday night. Was it Tuesday night? New Year's Eve? Anyway, and New Year's Day. It's kind of a weird week, isn't it? Because it's Thursday today and you've got Thursday and Friday when you've kind of got to go back to work, and then you've got the weekend again. So all you got to do is just fucking get into work with your hangover and just suffer at your desk or whatever else you do. Don't do any work. Nobody's really give us a shit anyway, do they? Even the bosses are sitting there with a hangover or don't want to be there. I personally, I've pretended to work today and I've done nothing, and I'm going to do the same tomorrow. It's kind of like, it doesn't really go fair well with the New Year's resolutions, that kind of get up and just fucking, you know, get into the new year and get on with what you've, a week like this doesn't really lend itself to that, because you just think, oh, you know what, I'll just coast through those 2 days, it's the weekend again and I can chill out again. So 2020 New Year's resolutions are going to kick off on Monday, most likely for most people. I mean, I've got resolutions, but my resolutions are always there, you know. I don't just have to do them from January the 1st. You can't. It's stuff that I wanted to do last year that I never got round to doing. So it kind of just rolls on, doesn't it? So, but hopefully I'll get a lot more done. There's going to be a lot more of these podcasts and a lot more videos. So I'm going to be talking to some of your dismay, or some of you might be happy about that. Probably not very many. I'll be talking to a lot more people in space as usual, because there's not enough people on Earth who are listening to these podcasts just yet. So if you know anybody, send it as a gift, as a joke gift if you like, or as a gift. Invite people, tell them all about me. So it's got a nice, it's got a Brummie with a Brummie accent. It'll put you to sleep if you're having trouble sleeping, or it can depress somebody that you want to piss off. You can send it that way. But anyway, all are welcome. It doesn't really matter. I'm just rambling. All it is my ramblings and my thoughts. And there's videos on YouTube. So if you're listening on the podcast, then go over to the video channel and check it out there. So what we're going to do, cracking on with swimmers not braving the North Sea. I mean, the North Sea is probably going to be the coldest place in England. In the water, it's the coldest place in the UK, I would imagine. But they braved it on New Year's Day. Loads of, well, they're only showing the sexy ladies here running in their great outfits. There's hundreds of people in the water. Generally, you get loads of old people, don't they? They've got swimming clubs and they've been doing it for years. Every year, even every day even, but I mean on Christmas Day specifically and on New Year's Day, it's a tradition to go in the water. But all the young fillies and all the young lads are all going out and doing it with their with their outfits. Some are dressed as sailors here, some have got the Speedos on, and some of them are probably like, it's a good hangover cure, isn't it? Dumping yourself in the minus temperatures of the water. So yeah, it's a good idea. Tyne and Wear, that is. So if you want to do it next year, Whitley Bay, Tyne and Wear. But don't have to go to Tyne and Wear. It's freezing cold in the water anywhere around the country. So do it anywhere. Over that, I'll just have a cold shower. If you're in the middle, if you're in Birmingham, like where I'm from, if you can't get to one of the seaside resorts, just have a freezing cold shower and, like, you know, go, yeah, I've done the New Year's Day tradition, freezing cold shower. I'll tell you what. There's a guy, what's his name? I forget now. Something Huff. There's a guy who does like this mental, tells you how to sort of handle your fight and flight and stuff like that. It's all about mental progression and sort of, what's the word? I don't know what the word is, but anyway, it teaches you how to sort of handle anxiety and things like that. Mills Huff, I think his name is. But one of the main things he does, you see him in the Arctic and everything, taking expeditions and that, and teaching people how to walk through the Arctic with just a pair of boxer shorts on or something, and not feel the cold, and like stop shivering and deal with your mentality. I've spoke about this some time ago, I believe, but the point of it is that your fight and flight, because when you jump into the freezing cold water, you automatically start shivering and want to jump back out, and you kind of panic and that fight and flight kicks in. But then if you can handle it and stick around and then kind of try and refocus your mind and stand under the cold water, all of a sudden, I've done it as well, and the cold water stops being cold. You get used to it, and it becomes almost warm. Obviously you don't want to stay under there too long, as you become hypothermic. But I imagine that's the same like when you jump into that North Sea and whatnot. You jump in because it's freezing cold. I've been in the ice baths as well, and all of a sudden, at the first you just want to jump out of there, and your panic kicks in, and all of a sudden you can relax and just take it on board, and that's how you can control your anxiety. So if you have any kind of those problems, check him out. Hoff is his surname, but he's got some really good tips on doing that. So if you've got like a lot of anxiety and stress in your life, and you want to just like go, you know what, this ain't bothering me no more, then a cold shower could be the way forward. I mean, I don't think there's, I was going to say there's no easy way of dealing with it, but that's probably one of the harder ones. Beefy music legend Meatloaf has joined the vegan craze. Veganuary. Who's doing Veganuary this month? Basically, it's if you're from another country, it's basically when, I don't know, it's around the world, isn't it? Where people are encouraged to try vegan foods and go off meat for the month. Some people just do it to learn about new foods and stuff. I don't eat meat as well. I've done, I do all that anyway. I don't call myself anything. I'm on a plant-based diet anyway, but it suits me. And there's so much choice now, and there's so many options out there. You don't really miss it, I mean, if you want burgers, you can get them. If you want, I've even had vegan bacon the other day, and I tell you what, smoky street bacon, and smoky bacon kind of thing. And honest to God, I could give you that and you wouldn't notice. I could give that to somebody. I'm going to test it on somebody. I'm going to make them a bacon sandwich and then give it to them and see if they say anything, because I bet they don't, because it's that good. And there's no fat and stuff, and nothing's been shot in the head for you to enjoy it. So there you go. Anyway, Meatloaf. I've got loads of stories here, and I'm not even talking about them. I'm talking about other stuff, aren't I? He's doing it anyway. Bat out of Helsinki. He's back in the Veganuary campaign. Who else? Plenty of screen stars are also following plant-based diets, including Simon Cowell, Benedict Cumberbatch, Natalie Portman, amongst many. I mean, the list's growing, isn't it? Because, I mean, if you want to talk about climate change and you want to have an impact, or what your kind of what you can do, then that's one of the biggest things a single person can do, because the main contributor is the meat industry anyway, isn't it? Especially the cattle. So anyway, they've made up some of his songs here, the top 10 songs that he could have done. I'm not going to read them all out, but he's got Fresh Spinach for Love. They've veganed up some of his songs here. Parsnip by the Dashboard Lights. Hot Potato, don't know what that one is. Bat out of Bell Pepper. You took the curds right out of my mouth. You get the gist. Someone's had a bit of fun there trying to come up with those. They should employ me. I can come up with those all day long. Although I can't think of one off the top of my head. I should have thought of one first, shouldn't I, before I fucking big myself up. James Blunt has been banned from his own pub. He owns a pub. He's been banned from pulling the pints because it puts off the punters, the staff said. He's a buzz, isn't he? I like James Blunt. It's especially follow him on Twitter, because people give him a load of shit, and he takes it well and sort of responds back in a playful way. And people are always calling him fucking, calling him all sorts, and he takes it on the chin. Anyway, he's got a pub called the Fox and Pheasant, and they make him go in the back washing the glasses. So that's not the best. That's not very nice, is it, having to do the shittest job in your own pub? But what's he say here? He said, and also he does the 5 minutes before closing time. He plays his own music. We are beautiful. No, you're beautiful and wise men, as the music to turn people off and make them get out the door. So, and he said it works every time. It certainly would. I'd soon be out of there if. What I don't like about pubs is like when they serve you a pint, like they do that. They serve you a pint. They take all your last orders like that. And then they serve you the pints, and then all of a sudden they go, right, everybody out, everybody out. So they put that music on as soon as you've been given your last pint. You're just about to enjoy it, and the music to kick you out comes on. and it's the same music every night as well, so it's going to wind you up. Even if you like the tunes to start with, it's going to piss you off. So I don't like that, because then they start putting the chairs upside down on the tables and going, can everybody leave? Can you leave? Because you're finished. And these like rushing you. It's a fucking, it's a wind up, I tell you. So you're better off just not having a last drink. You know what I mean? My opinion, and I'm going to stick to that. But rail passengers are being warned of another decade of misery. Of course they are. It's fucking profit. It could have all been a change if you'd voted Labour. We would have had a totally different system. But now they've got a 2.7% rise straight into the new year. So it's all about the profits. Prices have gone up. Carriages have got smaller. Cramped in. No seats. Fuck it. It's like you're better off just sacking the job off, working locally in a totally different job. That money that you're saving on the train ticket, because I think some of them are like, to get into London, it can be £5 a year. Fuck that. Do a £5 less a year job locally where you are, and save yourself the hassle, because you're saving yourself 2 hours a day, and that's fucking money in the bank, regardless of the money. You know, that's time, and 2 hours extra a day that you're not pissing about, or longer if you, depending on where you're commuting from. You know, fuck them, don't go on the rail, just boycott it. That's what I say. And they are doing it. They're actually having they're doing some, what are they doing? They're striking anyway at the stations. So, but you know, they'll ride that out, unfortunately. Football fans were shocked when official advice from their club told them to visit a lap dancing pub before kick-off. Ipswich Town fans travelling to watch their team play Wycombe Wanderers in League One. Yesterday were given the tips on what to do in the area, and one of them was to go to the White Horse in the Buckinghamshire. Fucking hell. The White Horse in the Buckinghamshire town of High Wycombe was the best pub for away fans, with a good choice of lagers, sports on TV, and exotic dancers from lunchtime. Come on, I don't think the White Horse in High Wycombe has got any kind of exotic dancers. I mean, they might have some dancers there taking the clothes off, but I'm sure that's not the most exotic place in the country, or in the England is really not exotic anyway, is it? But I'm sure that it's not the. Basically, they're just trying to get the money off you, and it's a good idea actually. Just pack it with whatever any pissed up bloke would want. Beer for starters, and then like sexy girls, if you want to call that, and sports. So they're there to take your money off you, just like the, you know, like when people used to go on the gold rush, when they used to work in like the mining towns in America or in Australia, they would like do the mining, and then all the workers, they'd build a casino, build like the strip bars, the hooker bars and whatever else. So they'd pay your wages, and then most of the blokes would then go and blow it in the casino, the pubs, and in the hooker bars and the strip bars. So you'd end up giving all the money back, and the places were owned by the people who owned the mine, so you end up giving them all the money back. It's a right good screw, and you know, most blokes fell for it every time. So, but I mean, this is the same kind of thing. They want pissed up football, coach loads of football fans, and that pub's probably making a roaring trade. So I changed my mind. Them girls are kind of making a fortune down there, so good on them. Come and have a go. The Pope slapped a well-wisher, they're calling her, but did you see her? She was like yanking his hand and everything, like probably like twisted his ring. You know when somebody grabs your hand and they twist your ring into your finger? She probably did something like that, because she weren't fucking manhandling him, or she was trying to pull a bit of him off so she can sell it on eBay in a couple of weeks' time. He just couldn't get through his hair, so she was after something on his hand. But he slapped her anyway, and then he's had to come out and apologise for it. But he lost his patience, he said. So it just goes to show he's human after all. He's pretty sure Jesus didn't react like that in the Bible when the woman reached out to touch his cloak. Yeah, but like, she was yanking him, for fuck's sake. You can't just like accept people just manhandling you, or woman handling you like that. Good on him. Get your fucking. She said, get your fucking hands off me. I'm the Pope. I'm the main man round here at the moment. So you know, do as you're told. Right, okay. Kind of wrap it up on a few other things here. Drivers of Renault motors are the most likely to have a rump in their car. More than half, 56%, have admitted to having sex in their vehicle, compared with the national average of 44%. Come on, that's probably the most unsexy car out of the lot of them, isn't it? A Renault. You see like some spotty arse bouncing up and down in a fucking Renault. And why are people having sex in the cars anyway? What's it like? Having affairs, are they? With because Renaults are not like. Is there many kids driving around in Renaults? I can see them doing it because they've got nowhere else to go. Or is it like Rita Sue and Bob 2 when he's out? Yeah, exactly. He's having an affair and he's like got the two. That's a great film if you haven't seen it. But like you can imagine some like balding fucking fat bloke and like some dinner lady from his kid's school or something, all going at it in his Renault in the bushes up in the Lovers Lane or whatnot, with all the doggers coming around. Apparently, that's what happens. Yeah, I'm sorry, but you're not. That doesn't float my boat, the Renault. Some of the sexiest cars are too small for you to have. You couldn't shag in a Ferrari or something like that. Not that I find that sexy, but some of them have only got 2 seats, haven't they? And there's not really much leg room, if you like. Orlando Bloom has kept the skeleton of his dog as an ornament, including its penis. So why? Was he set it up like looking like a dog? Has he taxidermied it? He set his body to a company that strips it down to the bones. Fucking hell. I just couldn't stand the idea that he was not going to be around anymore. They asked me if I wanted to keep the penis. What do you think? I said. Aesthetically, it didn't look quite right, so I have it on the side. So he's got the penis. He's took the penis off and he's got it just sat on the side, or in the drawer maybe. Have got your key ring like a rabbit's foot. Your dog's penis. That's one thing. Actually, it's a good thing to do, isn't it? Because it was probably, you know, people have taxidermy and stuff like that, so you might as well do it with your own pet rather than something that's fucking been shot for the purpose of it. At least it's died of you know, normal causes and whatnot. Happy Monday. Star Bez has vowed the band will never make another record after branding their fans cunts. The maraca shaking Mancunian said the crowds at the group's gigs have begged that they not play new songs and just keep playing their classics. We're at that stage like fucking like Bob Dylan. He comes out playing a new album and none of the cunts want to hear it. So they just want him to play the old stuff. So you might not have anybody, if your new cunts, as if by saying that, yeah, of course they will. Their tunes are banging anyway, aren't they? But we just got to stick a few in and say, fuck yeah, you know what I mean? We're playing them. So if people are buying the records, you know there's a market for it. If you, I tell you what, put a record out. If nobody buys it or you get no downloads, don't bother because nobody likes it. If they do, then play it. If they're banging. Where are we going? Post Malone spent New Year's Eve getting a huge tattoo on his face. It looks proper shit as well. It's a suit of armour holding a mace, inked right down the side of his face there. And I don't think, well, I can only see a small version of it here, so I've got to look closely at it. But I don't think there's much room left on his face. He likes the old face tattoos, but that one might be. Has he been drinking before that one come up? He's come up with a random, like, you know, a suit of armour's arm right down the side of your face, like as if you're talking into a, you know, one of them headsets in a call centre. That one might go down as a mistake. I'm going to check it out and I'll come back and report on it tomorrow. Tell you what I think, if I remember, which I probably won't. 1 in 4 middle-class men feared being sent to debtor's prison in the 18th century. Financial insecurity was rife among skilled workers and craftsmen. Fucking times hasn't changed, has it? I'd be straight in there if this is the case. I didn't know you could go to prison for, well, these are sent for debtor's prison, and you can kind of, if you rack up a massive one here, can't you? But usually you just have to go bankrupt and stuff. They didn't have credit cards in those days. You probably had to give up your wife or your life or your house or your whatever else. The men, obviously the women have to give up their men as well. Let's get it on an even keel. But back in those days, it was there wasn't any such thing as equal rights, was there? But there should have been, because the women fucking worked harder than the men, I imagine. Right, I'm going to finish up on one more thing. What's that going to be? Well, I could have finished up on a couple, but I'm going to finish up on one more thing. Lifestyle. I'm thinking of adopting a healthy lifestyle this year. You may be more likely to stick with it if you rope in somebody else to do it with you. So if you want to do a diet or fitness routine, get a buddy to do it with them. But that's recipe for disaster, because one of you is going to fail and the other one ain't going to do it then because he's got no buddy to do it with. You're going to get someone who's committed, but I can't train with anybody anyway. I can't jog with anybody. That's the worst. I see people jogging and they're talking to each other and they're not jogging very fast, and all they're doing is just chatting as they're walking around. I can't do that because I'm trying to breathe for starters, and the last thing I fucking need to do is trying to have a conversation with somebody and it will snot all coming out, and as you're trying to breathe and gasp for air, it's the worst time to have a chat. But some people, I see them just, if that gets you out of the house and gets you doing it, fair enough, but it don't work for me. So I'm a lone trainer, I'm a loner in fucking all sorts of ways, not just training. But I prefer to do it by oneself. That's why I get this physique looking so good, because I've trained hard for it. And I don't eat meat. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Hopefully, I'm going to finish up on one more. A driver spotted with tyres, driving with his tyres. He had no tyres on his wheels and he was 6 times over the limit. I'm not saying it's a good thing, but he was driving down the road with no fucking tyres on his wheels. How did you not notice that? They must have fucking burnt off miles behind. But anyway, he's got caught and he's fucked it, because that's one thing not to do on New Year's Eve. He was way over the limit and driving like Freddie Flintstone, with like just banging along the road with his tyres like that. So you got to be fucking pissed to not notice that. Anyway, I should have left it on the one before. I've dug myself into a shit storyline there. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there. Hopefully you've enjoyed it, and I'll see you again tomorrow. See you later. Bye.